Wait, stop scrolling. What if I told you that a tiny brown penny sitting forgotten in your pocket, your change jar, or an old coffee can could be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars? I'm serious. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating, misunderstood, and potentially valuable modern U.S. coins ever struck. This coin has shocked collectors, confused experts, and made everyday people suddenly realize that pocket change isn't always pocket change. This is the 1983 D. Lincoln penny, an unassuming 1-cent coin hiding some of the most dramatic minting errors in American numismatic history. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you might be sprinting to grab a magnet, a scale, and every penny you own. Now let's get right into it. The year 1983 was a turning point in U.S. coinage. Rising copper prices were becoming a serious problem for the United States Mint. For decades, Lincoln pennies were struck from a bronze alloy made mostly of copper. But by the early 1980s, the value of the copper inside the penny was approaching, and sometimes exceeding, the coin's face value. The government had to act fast. In 1982, the mint officially transitioned from copper-based pennies to a new composition, 97.5% zinc with a thin copper plating. This change saved money, but it also created chaos. Here's where things get interesting. In 1982, both copper and zinc pennies were produced. Multiple varieties exist for that year, and collectors love hunting them. By 1983, however, pennies were supposed to be struck exclusively on zinc planchets. No more copper pennies. At least, that was the plan. But as history has shown us time and time again, minting plans don't always go perfectly. At the Denver Mint in 1983, something extraordinary happened. A small number of leftover copper planchets, blanks intended for earlier bronze pennies, were accidentally fed into the presses. These planchets were struck with 1983 D. Lincoln cent dies, creating coins that technically should not exist. And that mistake would go on to become one of the most famous modern penny errors ever discovered. A standard 1983 D penny weighs about 2.5 grams. That's your first clue. A copper penny, by contrast, weighs approximately 3.11 grams. That difference might not sound like much, but in the numismatic world, it's enormous. Collectors began finding 1983 pennies that were noticeably heavier. When weighed and tested, the shocking truth emerged. These pennies were struck on bronze planchets. These are known as 1983 copper pennies, and they are among the rarest Lincoln cent errors in existence. Now let's talk about value, because this is where excitement turns into jaw-dropping disbelief. A genuine 1983 D bronze penny can be worth thousands of dollars. Verified examples have sold at auction for well over $10,000, depending on condition and authentication. Some experts believe that only a handful exist, possibly fewer than 10 confirmed specimens. That level of rarity puts this coin in legendary territory. But here's the twist, and this is extremely important. Many people think they've found one, but most haven't. The market is flooded with altered coins, plated coins, and outright fakes. That's why understanding the details is critical. The first test most people try is the magnet test. Zinc pennies are not magnetic, and neither are copper ones, so the magnet test alone won't help you much here. The real key is weight. A precise digital scale is essential. If your 1983 D penny weighs close to 3.11 grams, your heart should start racing, but don't celebrate yet. Professional authentication is absolutely required. Another thing collectors look for is the sound test. Copper pennies make a distinctive ringing sound when gently dropped on a hard surface, while zinc pennies produce a dull thud. This test isn't scientific, but experienced collectors swear by it as a preliminary indicator. Visually, bronze pennies often have a warmer, richer color compared to zinc cents, which can look slightly dull or grayish when worn. However, color alone is not reliable because environmental damage, toning, and plating can fool even seasoned collectors. Now, bronze planchet errors aren't the only reason the 1983 D penny is famous. This year is also notorious for dramatic die errors and striking anomalies. One of the most common, and destructive, issues with 1983 pennies is copper plating problems. Because these coins are zinc cores coated in a thin layer of copper, that plating can bubble, crack, peel, or completely separate over time. Collectors often encounter 1983 D pennies with blistered surfaces, exposed zinc, or missing plating entirely. These coins can look mangled, corroded, or even melted. While many of these are considered post-mint damage, some are legitimate mint errors caused by improper bonding of the copper plating during production. Genuine missing copper plating error from 1983 can be worth anywhere from $50 to several $100s, depending on condition and severity. Coins with partial plating missing or dramatic peeling are especially popular with error collectors. Then there are off-center strikes. These occur when the planchet is not properly aligned in the press, causing part of the design to be missing. A 1983 off-center penny with a clear date and mint mark can easily sell for $100 to $300, and sometimes much more if the strike is extreme. Double strikes are another eye-catching error. These happen when a coin is struck more than once by the dies, often resulting in overlapping images, distorted lettering, or ghost-like outlines of Lincoln's profile. Well-centered double strikes from 1983 are scarce and highly collectible. We also see die cracks, cut errors, and die chips in 1983 pennies. Die cracks appear as raised lines across the surface of the coin, caused by cracks in the die itself. Cuts occur when a piece of the die breaks off entirely, leaving a blob-like raised area on the coin. These errors add character, uniqueness, and value. Even more fascinating are transitional errors, coins struck during a period of change, like the copper to zinc transition. The 1983 bronze penny is the ultimate transitional error, a coin that slipped through the cracks during one of the most important compositional changes in U.S. coinage history. Now let's step back and talk about the historical context. The Lincoln cent design itself is iconic. First introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person. The obverse portrait by Victor David Brenner has become one of the most recognizable images in American numismatics. By 1983, the Lincoln Memorial reverse was still in use, depicting the famous monument in Washington, D.C., with Lincoln himself visible between the columns. This reverse design would remain until 2009, making the 1983 penny part of a long and beloved design era. Over 6.4 billion pennies were struck in Philadelphia and Denver combined in 1983. The Denver Mint alone produced over 6.4 billion cents. That massive mintage makes standard 1983 pennies extremely common and typically worth only face value in circulated condition. But that's exactly why the rare errors stand out so dramatically. Finding a valuable coin among billions is what makes numismatics thrilling. It's like searching for a needle in a haystack, but that needle could pay your rent. Collectors today actively search rolls of pennies, estate collections, and old jars specifically looking for 1983 errors. The coin has become a rite of passage for error collectors. Many seasoned numismatists can remember the first time they learned about the 1983 bronze penny and immediately checked every cent they owned. And this hunt isn't over. New discoveries still happen. Coins that sat unnoticed for decades are being rediscovered as more people learn what to look for. Every confirmed example fuels excitement and speculation. How many are still out there? We're more struck than we know. Or are we nearing the complete census of surviving specimens? Authentication is crucial. If you believe you found a rare 1983 error penny, sending it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC is essential. These organizations have the expertise, equipment, and credibility to confirm authenticity. A certified example commands significantly higher prices and eliminates doubt. One thing that must be emphasized is patience. Don't rush to sell. Don't clean the coin. Cleaning can destroy value instantly. Even light polishing can leave hairline scratches visible under magnification, turning a potential treasure into a damaged curiosity. The 1983 Lincoln penny stands as a reminder of why coin collecting is so powerful. Its history, art, economics, and chance all rolled into a single cent. It tells the story of a nation adapting to rising metal prices, a mint navigating change, and human error creating something extraordinary. So the next time you see a plain brown penny dated 1983 with a tiny D under the date, don't dismiss it. Hold it, weigh it, study it, because that humble coin might just be one of the most exciting modern errors ever produced by the United States Mint. And that's why the 1983 Lincoln penny isn't just spare change, it's a legend hiding in plain sight.